Hello everyone. It is Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. Of course, today was New Comic Book Day, which means right now it is time for the new comic book video. Small week for books as it relates to individual issues, but books that multiple copies were purchased of just because they are issues that I really like and possible, put away down the road. Maybe it comes back a little something more than cover price. So we will jump right into the books. And then I have a CGC comment to make because I know people love that, but I saw a video on YouTube which kind of highlights the things that I've been saying about CGC and their shitty ass grading that they do. So let's jump into the books. First book from Marvel, Morbius, Bond of Blood #1. Vampire guy. Not a huge Morbius fan, but I love the vampire genre, so I picked one of these up. Daredevil 27. Third print, Star Wars, The High Republic #1. That was it for Marvel. Again, it's not going to be a real huge week. So there was that. From DC, a couple of books I picked up, 3 total. Dark Detective, Future State, we've talked about that. I do love the Dark Detective storyline, so this is a no-brainer. I hope 3 is as good as the first 2. Hot book today as it relates to the Marvel DC line is Teen Titans #2. Right here, cover A. And the cover that everybody was trying to grab. Boom, right there. This one's selling, already $10 to $14. It's probably going to be a book that's going to settle once everything's said and done and the speculators get out of the way. Something that's going to be in the $7 to $10 range consistently. So there's that there. That was it for mainstream Marvel DC. Next up, Independence. Not a lot of independent books, but a couple of really good storylines. A book that was selling pretty good is a second print. Ha Ha #1, second print. Just a cool looking cover. I got that one there. Cover purchase only, but a couple of the shops I went to said, is there something special about that book? Because we've been selling them really fast. You were selling them fast because it is a beautiful cover. This is Deja Thoris #10, the Perillo cover. That's just a great looking cover right there. I did pick up a couple of those because it was a nice cover. Book from AWA, storyline I'm looking forward to. This is Casual Fling #1, 4-part series. There's the book there. Cover A. And cover B. Casual Fling #1 from AWA. AWA has been putting out some pretty decent storylines. We'll see where that goes. This kind of has a possible movie, tie-in for the concept. So there was that. And then a book that I'm really enjoying is Scout's Honor #2 from, I think this is Aftershock. Yes, it is. There it is. If you haven't read the first issue, read it. It's a really good storyline. This was one of the books that was on my hot pick video a while back. I gave everybody a few months, in advance. This is just a book I think is going to have something in it down the line because it kind of touches bases on a lot of different, things that, are popular on television. Post-apocalyptic. There's violence, fighting, a good storyline, a different type of story content. If you don't know the group of people that are in this story, I don't want to give it away, kind of live their life off of the Boy Scout code. That is like their rules of their, what do you call it, whatever, their, neighborhood or whatever they, community. That's the rules of their community is the Boy Scout code. And then also I picked up Something is Killing the Children, trade paperback, #2, first print. Picked this up right here. And there was that. And then I did the video yesterday on the Something is Killing the Children books that I found in the storage unit along with some other books I found in storage. Got a really good response out of those. And then the video was already being uploaded, or I'd already completed the video. And then, of course, Boom Studios announced yesterday as well that they are not going to stop it at #15, but they are taking a hiatus. They're hoping to be able to get #16 out in May. Now, the only difference on that is it's not going to be a continuation of the current storyline. It is going to be a different story arc, and #16 is going to be an origin story of Miss Slaughter here, everybody's favorite hunter. So if you want to pick up some of those, go ahead. If you have seen some of the covers for number 15, which is actually the end of that story arc, really, really nice looking covers. But again, speculators grab these things. They try to flip the money really, really quick. Now understand, with Something Is Killing the Children, the reason the early issues, and I'm talking issues 1 through basically 7, 8, do so well on the secondary market is because it is a very, very limited print run on some of those, especially when you start getting into the 3rd, 4th, 5th printings. Even that 6th printing that's over $300 is because the print runs are just microscopic. I mean, when you look at some of these companies putting out 50, 60,000 copies of a book, and you look at the 6th print for Something Is Killing the Children that's less than 1,300 copies, that is a huge discrepancy. And when the book gets popular, everybody's trying to grab the back issues. The one thing I don't buy on those are the variants, the 1 in 25s, the 50s, because the prices on those are just a little outrageous. And I think when all is said and done, the books are still, the early issues of that Something Is Killing the Children are going to hold value, because I think it is a storyline that's going to last. And if the TV show that they're doing is going to be any type of decent story that translates well to the television, like early episodes of Walking Dead, which jumped a lot of those books up, and now of course those have balanced out, you're still looking at number ones that are still going to be selling in that $90 to $140 range. Some of those second prints, some of those harder issues to find are still going to hold their value. So I am excited about that. So those are the books that I picked up. Not a whole lot of books, but still really, really nice pickups. Now, everybody knows, I talked about, I had sent 4 books into CBCS, and I get a lot of questions, private messages and things. Why are you using CBCS and not CGC? Because I had been very outspoken about CGC, about the way that their grading standards are. Their grading standards are horrible. A lot of people are seeing that. When I first started saying that, everybody just called me, every name in the book, because they were like, you're just an old school guy, doesn't believe in grading, so you're going to bash the grading companies. No, I'm not going to bash the grading companies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bash a company that claims they have no financial motivation to do it, because they're a third party, but yet their grading standards as it relates to key issues is so out of whack that you can have a book that would definitely grade in the 4.55 range by most of the society, or most of the comic book community who actually knows how to grade books. And then you send it into CGC and that book's coming back a 7, 7.58. When you're talking about keys, you're talking, hundreds, depending on that, thousands of dollars in the difference between a 5 and an 8 or a 7.5. So I always thought that there is a market for that. Big people who send big orders in are going to get the better grades. It's just the nature of the beast. It's almost like insider trading as it relates to the stock market. They make deals with some of these companies. I don't want to call out any companies because, this is my personal opinion. But if you look at some of the big sellers on eBay, some of the big online sellers who do a lot of graded books, it's just kind of funny to me that their books are coming back much stronger grades. I enjoy Very Gary Comics. He sends a lot of books in to get graded, a lot of recent stuff, new books that get sent in, and his grades are always, he'll send 25 books in for what they call the pre-screen 9.8, and he comes back with 23 to 25 9.8s. So I mean, people can pick their books, but it just never seemed right to me. And I was going through YouTube and I found a channel of a kid who's doing a grading video. He does a few videos. He's more of a pop person. Now this video is called Guess the Grade, and it is by a YouTuber by the name of Pop Savage. And this video was from January 10th of 2021, and he got a small book of graded books back from CGC, and he was just going to show the grades that he got, because he's new to this, he's new to the grading aspect of it. And so he submitted books, and he was pulling them out thinking, I thought this was going to be a 9.4 and it would come back maybe a 9.2 or a 9, or I thought this would be a 9.6 and it would come back a 9.2. He was kind of close, but usually lower than what he thought it was going to be. And then he brings up his last book, which is a Batman Beyond, #1. first appearance of Batman Beyond, a really nice book. And he's looking at it and he's like, this is the last book. I know this book. It has some, damage on it on the spine. You can see the issues with the book. And I'm hoping to get maybe a 7.5. If I got an 8 on the book, I'd be really, really happy. But, I'm hoping for a 7.5. And he takes the book out, covers the grade with his hand, showing the camera, and undoes it. And it comes back a 9.8. A CGC 9.8 on a book that he thought was going to be a 7.5. You can see his face. He's looking and he's like, how did this get a 9.8? How did this get a 9.8? And he starts going down, looking at the book and saying, you can see the spine issues down the spine. You can see on the back. You can see this. There's a staple issue. He's pointing out all these issues, and he got a 9.8 on a book that sells very, very well with a big profit. And he was, he was honest. He was like, hey, I'm not going to complain, but there's no way this book should have been a 9.8. And therein lies the issue. CGC's throwing out grades. Now, people will sit there and they'll send me stuff in the mail, or they'll send me, messages saying, not everybody can be perfect every time. No, that is true. Not everybody is perfect every time. But if you're charging for a service and there is fees that you might, get a little bit more money for based off of a higher grade, and those grades are being, a little suspect because of the issues that the book is having, I expect a little bit more service for that. And the fact that people have to wait, X amount of months to get their books back. The bottom line is CGC does a horrible job of grading. I've been saying that since day one. More people are going to CBCS because their grading standards are a little tougher and a little bit more consistent. All people want is a consistent grading system. People that are honest and know the business. Those graders, I think, they just hire people to grade books that really don't understand grading. They give them a crash course of how to grade, and then they miss things and they just write it off. They're getting their money. CGC, the bottom line is CGC is getting their money. They don't care about the industry. They don't care about the hobby, because if they did, they would hear all the complaints that happen on YouTube, or the complaints that I hear at comic shops all the time or at comic conventions as it relates to grading, and they would find a way to fix it. They're not going to fix it. And the reason they're not going to fix it is because all these people sending tons and tons of books into them are not holding the company accountable. If you have a business and you're doing lackluster work, but nobody's holding you accountable for the lackluster work, you have no motivation to fix it and make it better. And that is the problem. CGC has no motivation to fix it because no one holds them accountable for it. Oh yeah, they do such a shitty job, but I just spent, I just sent another 50 books into them because I get more money with CGC than I will CBCS. Okay, that's true, but what you're doing is, as a seller, that the book is not coming back what it should, and the grade and the book is severely overgraded, yet you're selling it at the severely overgraded grade. What does that say about you as a seller? Does that make you feel good to know that you're selling a product that definitely isn't the grade that you're sending it in and taking advantage of that situation? Shame on you. You shouldn't do that. I don't sell graded books. I don't sell graded books because I don't trust CGC's grading. I sent the 4 books in because it was a request from a viewer, but you're not going to see those books going up online and me trying to flip them, especially as hot as those books are, because it's not what I'm in this business for. So there was that. Again, I just get irritated because I love this community. I love the hobby. I love the industry. I don't love what CGC is doing to it. I don't love what speculators and flippers are doing to it. And sellers that know, you'll hear sellers say, well, I know CGC is doing a really bad job, and some of the books I get are definitely not that great, but I want to sell them anyways. You got to have morals in this industry. If you don't have morals, you're just as bad as everybody else. So there was that. Again, it was just kind of a rant right there. But again, watch the video. Again, the video is Pop Savage is the YouTuber from January 10th, 2021. And again, it's the last book in his video of his unboxing. It's called Guess the Grade. Now, he does a lot of like pops and things like that. You got to find the comic book one. But just click on it. Look at the date, January 10th, 2021. Watch the unboxing. Look at his face when he pulls that 7.5 out and sees it's a 9.8. It's classic. It's worth the time watching the video. So there is that. Again, I appreciate all the positive views. You don't have to agree with me. These are my personal opinions. But if you agree with me, I'd like to hear those comments down there. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. Hit the bell so you get notifications when the new books come out. So that's all we have. So I hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. Happy hunting. And if you're not on this, you need to get on it, because I think down the road, you're going to regret if you don't. Have a great day.